All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast.
Say, man, what you got across your chest, man? What is that?
Shh, you about to find out. Coach Williams, guess what? I'm in draft mode, okay?
Is this a security blanket? What are you, Linus from the Peanuts? What is that?
Silence!
I'm
Anyway,
just saying.
silence. Anyway, I'm the quarter host, Coach Williams, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this whole thing. Snug as a bug in a rug.
I mean, it's cold, but put on a hoodie, man. That's kind of...
Man, look, snug as a bug in a rug. Leave me alone, okay? That direction, okay? See which way my head is? Well, at least on that. Yeah, there you go. That's Steve White, the guy who came up with the idea for just for us to do this podcast. What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? A lot to talk about. How y'all fellas doing?
We're doing good, doing good.
I'm still trying to figure out why he got this homemade Snuggie on.
It's not a Snuggie, it's a throw. Know the difference.
Okay, whatever. Okay.
Snug as a bug in a rug, okay?
I mean, we in the middle of an ice storm. I get that. That's why I got a hoodie on, but, you know.
Snug as a bug in a rug, okay? Goodness gracious. How many times I got to say this? We got a show to do. Burn 2 minutes, 20 seconds talking about snug as a bug in a rug. Anyway, panel 316. He said nothing is a sure thing.
Not in these playoffs.
You ain't lying. So let's talk about it, man. It's been the title says Wild Weekend and All Pros. We know you why y'all here. Let's talk about it, man. Wild Weekend. What kind of weekend was it, man? Let's start off with Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans. And we got already.
Yeah, see, first of all, that starts it all perfectly. That is like a microcosm of how strange this past weekend was, a Super Wild Card weekend. But as I said before, because none of us picked Houston to win this game. None of us on this panel picked Houston to win the game. But I did say, and I'm going to keep saying it, the most dangerous teams are the teams that don't have anything to lose. Because the pressure's not on you. Nobody expected Houston to be where they were at the end of week 18. So they're playing with what we like to call house money. So it's like, hey, man, let's just go out there and let it all hang out. It don't matter. If we get blown out, oh, well, the season is success. But if we win, hey, man. So it's like when you playing against a team that has nothing to lose, those teams are extremely dangerous. And Houston, Texas is that team. And at this point, if unanimously DeMeco Ryans does not get Coach of the Year, I don't know what to tell you. Houston, y'all need to riot. I'm just telling you right now. You need to riot. I'm serious. If DeMeco Ryans does not get Coach of the Year, y'all need to riot, Houston. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not inciting an insurrection like some former presidents do. But I'm saying that Houston needs to riot. DeMeco Ryans has earned the right to be Coach of the Year for the work he's done. He is 180 this program. They went from 3-13-1 to a double-digit win team that wins their division and then not only wins a playoff game in their own stadium, but annihilates one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns had one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL. They put 31 points up. I'm not counting the pick sixes. But just the Houston's offense alone put up 31 points against Cleveland's defense, which is again one of the best in the league.
Yes, it is.
So I mean that speaks volumes by itself. Then to turn around, Joe Flacco, everybody was praising Joe Flacco. He's shoo-in for comeback player of the year. Oh, Flacco gonna do this and Flacco gonna do that. Da 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 da. Picked him off not once, but twice. Didn't pick six him once, but pick sixed him twice. Pick 12. That's the first time we've ever used pick 12. Not only did they do it twice in the game, but they did it consecutively.
Yeah, sure did.
I was just flabbergasted at that. Now if you told me, hey man, Houston gonna pull an upset. If you'd have told me last week, Houston gonna pull an upset. I'm a time traveler. Houston, hey man, I just came back from the weekend. Houston gonna win. I'd be like, okay, I could see that. I can kind of see that a little bit. Stranger things have happened. No. Houston finna blow these cats out. That's when I'd have called you crazy. Let me see your 85 DeLorean. Where's Doc Brown? That's what I'd have been saying. For those of y'all who's too young to understand that, that's a Back to the Future reference. But yeah, you couldn't have for a million years told me that Houston not only was going to beat Cleveland, but they were going to blow the doors off of Cleveland.
Yeah, man. They played each other less than a month ago, man. DeMeco Ryan just adjusted. Cleveland won by 14 points when they played on Christmas Eve, man. They came out firing. They adjusted game plan wise, and they handled business in a big way.
Well, there's some a few nuggets from both games since Steve brought up the previous game. If you talk to a lot of Texas fans, they will sit here and tell you that that there were some players that were out for that game, but they were available for this game. Now I forgot exactly who was out, but if it's key starters, then that can make a big difference.
And actually, I don't even think CJ played in that game. Now that I think about it,
that was a difference.
Yeah, CJ didn't play.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Now, also within this game, and Eric brought it up, the Texans, destroyed that one of the best defenses in the league. Myles Garrett was neutralized by Laremy Tunsil. Man, Laremy Tunsil just, you didn't hear anything from Myles Garrett. From what I understand, they picked apart of course you saw them pick apart the Texas secondary, but they really targeted certain players in that secondary. Whether it's the corner opposite of Denzel Ward or the nickel corner, some of the safeties or linebackers. So, and on the other side of the ball, what's named Singletary neutralized Amari Cooper. So
Stingley.
Who?
Stingley.
What'd I say?
You said Singletary. You talking about the running back for you?
My bad. Stingley. Yeah, Stingley. Neutralized Amari Cooper. So basically, Houston Texans dogs were better than the Cleveland Browns dogs at the end of the day. Cooper was neutralized. Myles Garrett was neutralized. And there was nothing they can do. I mean, the only other person Joe Flacco really throw the ball to was David Njoku. Once they saw Cooper was taken care of, they just focused on coverage on him. That was it.
It was definitely about adjustments because typically in a DeMeco Ryans run defense, the corners don't travel. And this was an adjustment that DeMeco Ryans, this is excellent coaching here. He made the adjustment, says, okay, I'm gonna put my best corner on that best receiver. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna have him. He go to the bathroom, you follow him. He go down on Bissonnette, you follow him. That's it. He go to the Houston Zoo, you follow him. If he start a slab line going down the middle of the Fondren, people from Houston know what I'm talking about. You gonna get in your car with your fifth wheel, and you're gonna follow him around. And that made a huge difference in the game. And that left Flacco with not too many options. Yeah. So, yeah, man. The future is definitely bright in Houston. You have a first-year coach you have a rookie quarterback who I really feel like is going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And then you have a first-year play caller in Bobby Slowick.
Yep.
And to do what just to have the season that they had, let's say they didn't win double digits, but maybe they didn't quite make the playoffs. Let's say that happened. That season is still a success. It's a step in the right direction.
Well,
But for the fact for them to actually win the division and then win a playoff game, like they don't have anything else to prove, which also makes them even more dangerous going into this divisional round, which we'll get into later, because they don't have anything to lose.
We said last week that if Houston lost it, the season was still a success. But I mean, they ain't no winners. So, and we also said last week, everybody in your division, the AFC South, you better become great quick.
Oh, they on notice. They didn't put the whole AFC South on notice because
you better become great quick.
You know how they talk about it in anime and Dragon Ball Z, always say somebody had reaching your final form? Baby, Houston ain't reached their final form yet. That's the frightening part. There are still pieces missing on this team.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is they are ahead of
schedule. Yes,
but not just ahead of schedule. They ahead of like the 2021 Detroit Lions. They even ahead of the 2022 Detroit Lions. To be honest with you,
yeah, because we didn't see this coming. We knew there was gonna be an improvement.
Yep.
We knew that. We all agreed on that early in the season. I think all of us picked Houston to finish second in division, maybe sneak into a wild card spot, and then that's a good deal. They've gone beyond that. So whatever happens this coming weekend between Houston and Baltimore, it does not matter to the Texans right now. Yeah, Tank Dell's not even playing because he broke his leg, but
right.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing this with, like, CJ Stroud's doing this. Nico Collins is the man, but he's doing this with other receivers that are just kind of like cast-offs from other teams. Yep. Noah Brown, Reynolds. Brevin Jordan is starting to step up. He was a draft pick by Houston. He's a very good tight end out of Miami. But, I mean, just outstanding. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about what the Texans have done because – again, that's like you in a fifth grade math class and you start doing algebraic equations. It's like, hey, man, it's time to go ahead and bump you up to another class. You don't belong in this class. You didn't test it out. And the rest of the AFC South, you need to be on notice. Because, again, they have not reached their final form. There's still some growth with some of the young players that are on the team. And then with the way the things are going, they're going to draft well and plug in a lot of the other inadequacies that they have on the team, and they're only going to get better. They're well coached, and they got a franchise quarterback. Boom. That's it. They well coached. You could add all the other pieces. You got a franchise quarterback on his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
So you can spend money in other places for other pieces. Yeah. So, but moving on. Houston, fantastic job, Houston. DeMeco Ryan should be coach of the year. CJ Stroud should be rookie of the year. So,
hey, I just want to say real quick, what's up to everybody in the chat coming in on the YouTube side, on the Facebook side. What's up to everybody? Moving on to the next game that was also on Saturday night, AFC. Now, I'm sure the visiting team wish that they were snugging a bug as a rug that night versus being out there because they lost 26-7.
Let me tell you something.
Hold on. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Miami Dolphins, and temperatures at kickoff was like somewhere between -25 to -30 degrees. I'm sure once the Dolphins got back home, they definitely became snugging a bug in a rug.
Let me tell you something. Miami, when I saw the weather report for Kansas City, I was like, there's no way Miami's going to win this game because they do not want this smoke. They want a fire with smoke so they can keep warm, but they don't want that smoke from Kansas City. And it showed in the lack of physicality that the Miami Dolphins played with. They were not prepared for this cold. They had someone go out there and they had some of them go out there. I ain't gonna wear no sleeves. Okay, all right,
Pneumonia.
yeah. Or like they say down south, pneumonia. You can finna catch pneumonia,
Mhm.
but they were not prepared for that level of cold and the physicality that Kansas City brought, because Kansas City's kind of changing their persona a little bit. They're a little bit more run oriented by necessity because the receivers are awful. And they're playing defense better now. So they're kind of changing their identity just a scotch. And Miami was not ready for that. They didn't want to tackle nobody. It was one play. I think it was Pacheco that came around the end, and one of the defensive linemen just went like that. He ain't trying to ramp up. He ain't trying to hit. He just did that. 2 below. They not playing 2 below. 2 below is the temperature. That ain't the game we playing. You know what I'm saying? Miami was not prepared for that type of physicality, and it showed. They just weren't ready. Tua Tagovailoa just looked completely out of place. He looked completely inept. Outside of the one touchdown he threw to Tyreek Hill, everything else was just downhill from there. Kansas City didn't have to do a whole lot. They really did not have to do a whole lot. They just needed to just,
our physical Miami. And Miami, look, Miami is not it's not built to be physical, man.
No.
They're built to run track and field down in Miami, South Beach. I mean, Miami's not going to see negative 30 degrees wind chill factor anytime soon. If they see negative 30 degrees wind chill factor, we got some problems in this country. Okay, we got some.
We got some problems with climate change because it ain't.
Well, I mean, we do, but yeah, can you imagine that happening? I mean, sheesh.
It could within the next 5 years, but that's a whole nother topic because it's 21 degrees in Houston right now. So
Look, and the thing is, I mean, I said it on the last show. Andy Reid prepares the Chiefs for the playoffs. They caught everything except for Travis Kelce. They were catching everything in that weather. They were. The playoff Chiefs are different.
The one time they catch the footballs,
when it matters.
Huh?
When it matters.
Yeah, I know. Well, I tell you what, they better keep it up and not be fluked about it, because all season long the receivers were dropping passes. Except one line of a cornerback,
Oh.
but
B, I hear you, but all season long a lot of stuff happened. That didn't happen this past weekend. That's
I know. Trey, look, trust me, I know. Okay, trust me, I know. But like I said, Kansas City need to keep that up. If they want to get back to at least to the AFC Championship game, because they could be out here this weekend quick, and we'll talk about that later.
We're gonna get to that later. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
So we went from one game where none of us got to pick right, the Browns and Texans, to the Dolphins versus the Chiefs, where all of us got to pick right. That was kind of a no-brainer. And now we're looking at, what do we look at next, Brandon? Because I could go. What do you want to do?
So basically, we're gonna go to Sunday game, the first one. Green Bay traveling to Dallas, and just like that, Steve said, stuff that been happening all season did not happen, this past weekend.
That was another one we all got wrong.
Green Bay went into Dallas and beat Dallas, and Dallas was undefeated at home this season. And listen, Dan Quinn got to go. I don't want Dan Quinn back.
Oh, he's already gone. He already said he's gone. That's why he didn't really care about his defense.
Well, I know, but
my bad.
If you can't make a simple adjustment to play calling against someone lining up in big personnel packages, something wrong with you. Something is wrong with you.
He had nickel packages out there
24/7, 365. He's running nickel, dime, big dime against 12 personnel, 21 personnel, 22 personnel, and 22 personnel jumbo. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand that. Then we've been in man coverage all season, and then you want to sit there and run zone. When in the world do you start running zone? Is your name Rob Marinelli? Is your name Herm Edwards? You're not a zone guy. Now all of a sudden you're gonna run zone. Get out of here. Offensively, McCarthy, when he gets nervous, and you can tell when he's nervous. He just calls slant flat, double slant, go deep,
Yeah,
and run the ball.
it
Mike McCarthy can go too. This
what what
the whole coaching staff could go minus Al Harris.
you know what the crazy part is, what one of the Cowboys games during the season just wasn't happening. I mean, you're talking about the defensive scheme. You're talking about Mike McCarthy, first drive, run, Dak scrambles. Like, dude, we've won the games with Dak coming out firing a little bit, first, in these drives and stuff. And it was just really conservative offensively, which is not how he gets his rhythm. And then, being a defense let them score every single time except for 2 times, and they punted twice. It was a big hole to climb out of, man. That it was just it was over pretty quick, man. It was depressing to see.
And then also, Quinn wanted to sit here and drop not every single play, but a lot of times he would drop Parsons back in the coverage, and I'm like, yes, Parsons can run with a lot of players because of his 40-yard dash, but don't you think he's better off running forward than running backwards? I mean, to me, that was dumb. Dan Quinn tried to outsmart the other coach and failed. Mike LaFleur owned Dan Quinn. I mean, Matt LaFleur, because Mike is in LA with the Rams. Matt LaFleur owned Dan Quinn this entire game. And Joe Burr, the defense coordinator for the Packers, owned Mike McCarthy this whole game.
Now, I also don't want to take away, man. Jordan Love, he balled. He balled.
No, he really
big
did.
time.
He did.
Now, Aaron Jones, he did his thing too.
Yes,
I think a lot of it had to do with running against nickel packages and all that. But Jordan Love, man, he was on point throwing the football. On point. I mean, he one-on-one, he placed it perfectly, man. He mobile enough to make the big throws and take advantage of the blown coverages and all that kind of stuff, man. I was really impressed by him. I can't lie. I ain't really watched him much this year. I was really impressed by him.
I go now.
Well, hold on. I was going to say the Green Bay Packers have definitely put the Detroit Lions on notice. Detroit Lions better keep doing what they're doing and continue to get better. Go ahead, E. Sorry.
Okay. I knew y'all was gonna have a whole lot to say. That's why I brought snacks. Okay. We are.
My bad. I'm trying to do something.
What the hell was that?
My bad. I'm trying to do something.
Okay. So, to be fair, I picked Dallas to win this game. Okay. I knew Dallas would inevitably crumble sometime in the playoffs, but I didn't expect it until the NFC Championship when they came back out to San Francisco and probably lost by 10. It wouldn't be a 32-point game, but they was going to lose to San Francisco probably by 10. That's what I expected. But I forgot my own little mantra. The team with nothing to lose is the most dangerous. Green Bay was the 7th seed. They just barely squeaked into the playoffs. They're a very young team. Outside of, guys like Jair Brown and Aaron Jones, they're a very young team.
Jair Alexander, I'm sorry. Jair Brown plays for us. They're a very young team. I believe it was one sports analyst that said Green Bay don't even know they good. And that's literally what it is. They was like, hey, we just playing footloose and Francis free, and whatever happens, happens. Because we just happy to be here. We're actually on a semi-rebuild. They're on a remodel. They're not a rebuild. They're just a remodel. Not like Houston. Houston's a complete rebuild from the ground up. So you put that little part of it in there, and then you go over here with Dallas, who one is dealing with hubris because they have not lost at home in 16 games, even though they came real close against Seattle, even though they came real close against Detroit. They had not lost at home. At the end of the day, it was a W in the column. It was one in the W column. So there's that hubris. Oh, this ain't nobody but Green Bay.
This ain't nobody but Green Bay. We're going to be all right. We them boys. We're going to do what we do. We're going to beat these boys by 1,000 points like we've been beating everybody by 1,000 points at home. And there's nothing to worry about it. And the great Mike Tyson always says, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. That plan kind of fell apart. Now, had you told me Time Traveler comes back last week and says, hey, man, Green Bay beat Dallas in Dallas, I'd be like, okay, I could see that. But the sheer carnage of it, how badly, and again, the final score is not indicative of how bad Dallas got dominated. It was not even close. And the fact that Green Bay went in there and dominated, Green Bay, a team that does not typically have a great defense, how they were able to pick off Dak Prescott, who I will give credit, has been playing a lot of mistake-free football this season, much less mistakes than he's been playing in the past. But old Dak came back in that game. It was it's like, what the hell? But if you'd have told me that they'd have lost the way they lost, how they lost, I'd have called you crazy. I'd have been like, nah.
Well,
they lost by what, 3 points? A touchdown? No, they got smoked. What? No, I wouldn't have believed it.
Well, I don't think it was a thing as far as like them, saying, "Oh, it's just Green Bay." I do feel like that the players took it serious. I feel like they just got completely outcoached. Completely outcoached.
I for one,
On you, Brandon.
I don't believe that, and I disagree with that because the issue in that building is culture, and you got guys like Micah Parsons who's on his podcast every week talking about teams that didn't already beat them, talking about how we can whoop them and all that stuff. Well, why you didn't whoop them then? You got him just steady giving other teams bulletin board materials, believing that they're better than what they are. You got guys like DeMarcus Lawrence. Well, we don't hit people in the mouth.
You're right. The culture
DeMarcus Lawrence, where were you in that game?
The culture's not great, but I don't think that the Cowboys did not take them serious.
The culture is one of arrogance and of one of hubris. And that's why, just like I agree with both of y'all when y'all say there needs to be a change. Somebody in that building has got to change that culture because they are gassed up.
Yeah, it's the culture.
They've been gassed up by their fan base. They've been gassed up by their owner. They've been gassed up, and there's nobody on the coaching staff is reeling in and say, "Hey, man, we not that good." No, there's somebody always like, "Yeah, we that good. We that good. We them boys." All of that. And that's not the case. You got to have somebody there that's going to be running that culture saying, y'all not that good. But coach, we just won 40-0 against such. They was trash. That's why y'all won 40-0. Y'all going to see a real team. They're going to kick y'all tail unless y'all focus up. They don't have that. That's what's missing. Is the talent in the building? Yeah.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying the players didn't go in like, Dak knows how much pressure was on. You cannot tell me that he didn't go in there knowing it was a big deal and that he wasn't taking them serious. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm saying,
he took them serious.
But what I'm saying is the Dallas Cowboy degree of taking somebody serious versus some other teams taking another team seriously is two different things. A in trigonometry is different from an A in fifth grade math.
I'm saying
that's what I'm saying.
Dak was taking that game. A lot of players were taking that very serious.
No, they were taking the game serious, but I honestly think, just like you said, Steve, they got outcoached. McCarthy got outcoached. Dan Quinn got outcoached, and both of them need to go.
Because you're acting like there were press conferences and we talking trash and none of that happened.
I'm not talking about just this game. I'm talking about the culture in that building the entire year.
Well, we know that. I'm talking about this game. It was being outcoached.
But what I'm saying is, no, they got outcoached. I'm not disagreeing with that. They got coached. They put the coaches in a paper bag and hit it with a baseball bat. Yes, they did. But what I'm saying is that the culture, along with the bad coaching, led to that. That's still another ingredient in that pot. There's still some meat on that rabbit, like my pastor would say.
Yeah,
and
we all been saying that all season. We know the coach is terrible there.
yeah, so there has to be a definite culture change in the building because um, could they have beaten Dallas had the culture been different? Yeah, because still Dallas is struggles against the run. That's one of their Achilles heels. When you come downhill between the tackles on Dallas, that's been their Achilles heel the whole second half of the season, pretty much.
And that's another thing too. They need to bring in someone who's going to bring in a defense that's going to do better against the run, man. Because all this nickel stuff and dime stuff with tiny linebackers from
You have a converted safety playing Mike Backer for you
from FAMU.
Yeah.
And Damone Clark, I mean, yeah, he's from LSU, which is a Power 5 conference in the SEC. LSU. Damone Clark doesn't come. He's not consistent as far as coming downhill and making plays, and that's pretty much it. The linebackers, LVE suffered a neck injury, and he should retire this season.
Yeah. So one, you got to get bulkier at the linebacker position.
Yes,
two,
definitely.
Well, I'm sorry. Number two, you should get bulkier at the line. The main thing is culture. Culture in that building. They got to get a coach that's going to come in. We'll talk about that on another show because we're going to move on. But you got to have a coach that said, Micah Parsons, shut your ass up and get off this damn podcast and let's look at some more game film.
Man, look, I would tell
you need somebody that's going to say, no, we have not arrived yet. That's what you need.
Let me say this. I would tell all my players, get off the podcast and get off social media, get off IG, get off all this stuff. Don't say nothing because fans are going to keep talking trash to you the whole time, and you sitting there responding. You could be doing something else. So anyway,
okay, yeah. You got a head coach who lied to get his job. My bad. All right, let's move on. Come on, we can be on that.
All right. Next game. Now this game was close. 24-23. The Rams traveled to Detroit and lost 24-23. Stafford went back to Detroit. Jared Goff is a former Ram after that big mega trade a couple seasons ago. Two former first-round picks.
This is the first game we split on because I had the Lions.
Yeah, and I had the Rams.
Yeah, everybody had the Rams except me. I had the Lions because I believe in the Lions. I do, especially when they're at home. Now, the Lions. Excuse me, with my notes. Excuse me. Okay. The Lions have been playing like and you're gonna hear this same cliche. They play blue collar football, and it's just they literally bite your kneecaps until you quit. They win ugly, and as long as Dan Campbell's emotions don't affect his play calling, you can't really beat him.
Nah.
That's fact. That's not hyperbole. That's fact. Like when he allows his emotions to dictate his decision making, that's when they have problems. But in this game, they didn't. They just played their brand of football. The Rams, even though they have Puka Nacua, who's fantastic, even though they just added Kyren Williams, who's fantastic, they're on a decline. There's like you go fishing, you catch a big fish, and that fish fights you all the way to the boat. You get that fish in the boat, and that fish just lays down on the deck before you put him in the cooler. And then when you go to reach down and pick him up, put in the cooler, he kick one more time. That's what the Rams are doing right now. They in that last little death kick before you throw them in the ice box. They're still on their way out because you're not going to convince me that Carson Wentz is going to be able to do what Matt Stafford is doing. Matt Stafford's not doing too much of a whole lot. He's a warrior. I give him that because he takes a beating. He took a beating in that game.
He took a beating when he was at Detroit.
Yeah, and you can't do much more. You can't do no more in there, champ. I got to get you out of there. I got to throw the towel. So they're kind of on a decline, and the Lions on the way up. And this was kind of like a mini coronation. Saying, okay, they're switching places. We're going to hear a whole lot more about the Lions doing well than we hear a whole lot more about the Rams doing well.
You think the Rams are on decline?
They've been on decline. This is the last gasp for Al. Because let's be honest, Aaron Donald is not the player he was.
No, I understand that. I understand it. Here's my thing, and here's my argument with that. you have some rookies who performed well this past season who was drafted in the middle rounds, whether it's round 3 or round 5, a defensive tackle and Kobe Turner, a
He's a
running back who came out of nowhere and Karen Williams, a wide receiver and Puka Nacua. For the first time this coming off season, they have a first round pick since drafting Jared Goff. Okay, they have picks in all the rounds, and I think they're supposed to have a ton of salary cap space. Now, I'm not saying the Rams are going to be back in the playoffs next year. What I am saying is now they get to build this team in their image, but this time it looked like it might be through the draft. And if they can hit on picks this year, like they did with Nacua, Turner, and Williams, their record may be 2 games worse, but they're going to be a better team overall, if that makes sense. And so I think if you watch the Rams in 2025, depending on how they hit on these picks in 2024, they could make some noise in the NFC West.
I'll give you one thing. San Francisco Super Bowl window is going to be closing within the next 2 to 3 years.
Agreed.
Because eventually Brock Purdy continues to be who he is, they're going to have to pay him. And by having to pay him, there's going to be some guys that are going to be saying goodbye in San Francisco on that core. So could the Niners take a step back? Yeah. Depending on what happens in Seattle, they could completely flounder into nothingness, or they could find them a quarterback, have a good coach, and be right back in the thick of things. But yes, LA is gonna need a quarterback soon, and
yes,
that's the one thing. Like you talking about all the draft picks, so we adding these pieces and everything. Fact, no lie, you're right, Brandon. But what Titus just said is the nail in the coffin. It's like,
yes, I agree. No, I agree with that.
And that's going to be the thing that's going to hold them back in the NFC West. I don't think they're going to make a whole lot of noise in the NFC West because of that. Because right now, the best quarterback in the NFC West right now is Brock Purdy.
Right.
And unless Seattle does some moving around, unless if Arizona keeps Kyler Murray, no, stop. But that's one of the things that's going to hold him back. Matt Stafford is not going to be around.
No, and I agree, because he was drafted. He was drafted in 2011. So if I'm the Rams, if I'm McVay, I'm trying to get my quarterback this year in the draft, because this is the year to get a quarterback. Even though you may not get one of the best ones, if you think you can find a quarterback who you can develop and he fits your system, get him. Get them now and start working with them. That's what I would do.
They do need a project. Need a project.
Yes, quick.
And to not to go back a topic, but because I didn't really get to it, but Jordan Love, the Green Bay model. shout out to Sam Alvarado, who's a Green Bay Packers fan. Shout out to the Green Bay Packers, because that model works.
Yes,
and what I mean is you have Brett Favre, then you drafted Aaron Rodgers long before Brett Favre was ready to leave. Aaron Rodgers sits there for 2 years, and he learns the ropes. And the next thing you know, they put him out there, and he comes out firing. And now he's like, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So what do? They go off and they draft Jordan Love. Everybody's looking crazy, like what? What does he do? He sits there for a couple of years. And now we're looking at, there was a side-by-side comparison, a film study of the mannerisms in the pocket of Jordan Love and how much he resembles Aaron Rodgers. And dare I say, he's probably more athletic than Aaron Rodgers. But he sat there and he watched. The Green Bay model for developing quarterbacks is working. And these are different coaches we've seen over the years. But they draft a quarterback before they need a quarterback. And if I'm the LA Rams, that's what I would do. I would draft a project guy and sit him behind Stafford. Stafford might have maybe 1-2 more years. Let him sit behind Stafford. Let him develop.
Now,
And I don't want to give them any keys to being successful because they in my division. Screw the Rams. But being objective, that's what they need. That's what I would do. Why you got Stafford for another couple of years? Draft the guy now. He doesn't have to be ready to start right now. Draft him now. Maybe a second round, third round guy. You don't know. And let him develop. Let him learn the ropes. Because you draft your replacement before you need your replacement. Especially when you have a good player. But moving on, because we want to keep this thing rolling. Let's keep talking about
let's talk about
Lions beat the Rams by 1.
Let's talk about another cold game. This game got moved because of a huge blizzard, as Buffalo is one of the top cities when it comes to blizzards. It got moved from Sunday early afternoon to Monday evening as the Buffalo Bills beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 31-17. I gotta give Mike Tomlin credit. He keeps having winning seasons, regardless of who's the quarterback. I mean, it's not dominant seasons now, but they winning seasons. No TJ Watt. You knew they wasn't gonna be able to get to Josh Allen. Josh Allen just owned the Steelers. The Bills are more physical now because they fired Ken Dorsey and made Joe Brady their OC. And
I'm sorry, go ahead. Let me let you finish.
And so Joe Brady should become permanent OC for the rest of the time that Sean McDermott is the head coach. So
the thing is, it's not so much the physicality, although running the ball makes you a little bit more of a physical team. It's the fact that Buffalo, this new iteration of Buffalo that was developed mid-season when they put Joe Brady in as the offensive coordinator, this iteration of them is more balanced. And when you're more of a balanced attack, that makes your passing game better. Yes. Now, Buffalo won this game. And we don't do Pando's picks anymore in the postseason. But if I was going to pick a stone cold lock for this past week, that would have been the game because the Steelers were reeling. They were just happy to be there. This was more of the norm. Green Bay beating Dallas, that was the exception. Houston beating Cleveland, that was the exception. The Bills beating the Steelers, that's the norm. That was the norm. That's what we expected. The Bills are at home. They're a better team. They're a little bit healthier.
Yes.
They're on a tear. That's what we expected. But the tackling was really sloppy with the Steelers. I think they were just kind of mailing it in. And there's another team that mailed it in. We're gonna talk about them in a minute. But the fact that Buffalo now has a true threat in their running game. Not a running. They've always had running backs. They just didn't use them when Dorsey was there. Now you got Joe Brady, who's actually balancing that offense where you don't know what Buffalo's going to do when they line up. Now, granted, they should have beaten the Steelers even worse than that because there was a couple of Ken Dorsey-ish type of play calls in that game. I don't know if you sat and watched the whole game, but they was some 3rd and 2s where he cocking back and throwing the ball. Josh Allen is. And I'm like, what? Hey, run the ball, man. What you doing? So they gave Pittsburgh some life toward the end of that game when really they could have crushed them if they'd have just followed that balanced game plan.
Wasn't that the same game where the field goal was blocked?
Yeah.
And that put Pittsburgh in great field positions, and they got a touchdown out of that.
And that's a one-off. I mean, that's a special.
I know, but I'm just saying, this game should not have been as close as it was. It really should not have.
They could have crushed Pittsburgh,
and they should have.
And maybe they'll learn a lesson from it as they go into this game with Kansas City. Stand on people next when you have the initiative. But
don't play with your food.
I think we all, we don't have to discuss that one too much more. If Josh Allen can minimize the turnovers like he did that night, and they can keep it balanced, we could be talking about a potential Bills in the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
they are dark horse. you know, they are a dark horse. All right, so let's move on. That's what we
The
talked about.
Tampa Bay
Oh my God,
Buccaneers.
the Pop Warner Bowl.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Philadelphia Eagles 32-9.
I should not have a whole lot to say about this game, but I do, based on what I've been hearing.
Listen, so Philadelphia, outside of a few players, I feel I could be overreacting. Okay, I could be overreacting. I feel like they almost need to go through a rebuild. I feel like Philadelphia, especially on defense, definitely on defense. But I feel like they just need to go through a rebuild because the head coach isn't that it. Well, Jalen Hurts needs a lot of developing.
Well,
go ahead. You guys say something, Steve?
So I mean, they have no choice but to rebuild. This is what they did last season. They tried to do what the Rams did when the Rams won. They signed every veteran they could. They went all in, spent all their money, and didn't work out for them. This season is the effects of that. Next season is going to be worse. You got people retiring, people they can't afford. They were building themselves for very short-term success and it didn't work out for them. So they're gonna have some issues for the foreseeable future, in my opinion.
Of course they are. This team was a fraud all season long. That 10-1 when they start off 10-1 was a complete fraud. We've been saying on the show for the last 5-6 weeks. You know, they struggled to beat Washington. They struggled to beat Dallas that first game. They struggled to beat Buffalo. They struggled to beat New England. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Sirianni's fired. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Nah.
Listen, man, look. Steve, I heard what you said in the chat earlier. You know, he went going to Super Bowl, but I'm gonna tell you something. Philadelphia is impatient. They are the most impatient fan base in the NFL. They don't care. They are ruthless. They are impatient. They got rid of Carson Wentz quick, fast, in a hurry. They got rid of Donovan McNabb quick, fast, in a hurry. They will get rid of Nick Sirianni. And if Jalen Hurts don't improve quick, now they stuck on that contract for a few years, but they will try to get rid of Jalen Hurts as soon as possible too if he don't improve.
I agree with Brandon when he says that there's a level of impatience in the city of Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni got hit in the head with a bucket of popcorn on the way out of the stadium, and I'm not making it up. That's real.
Yeah, I saw that.
But the thing is, they've been frustrated when you lose 6 of your last 7 games, including a playoff game in the wild card round. There is cause for concern. It ain't like they finished, 12-5, or they finished a 13-4, something like that, and then they lost. That's bad. True enough, that's bad. But I want y'all to think about it. I want you to look at it without rose-colored glasses. You guys are Cowboy fans, and y'all calling for Mike McCarthy's head. Y'all went 12-5. Y'all won a division.
I understand.
Can you imagine in Philadelphia when you were holding the 1 seed in Philadelphia? You were in the driver's seat for the division, and you lost both of those. And then you turn around and you lose. You get blown out by Baker Mayfield, and you make him look like Tom Brady.
You lost to the Giants the previous week.
Well, hold on.
You struggled with the Giants a couple weeks before that.
I empathize with him.
There's a conversation about, and I don't know why. Again, everyone brings up Dallas. The greater fault. This is that. The Eagles, number one, NFC champions. They, how they got there. That's a different conversation. And then they spent almost all of the season as a number 1 seed until San Fran smacked them.
That's my point.
They had a complete meltdown.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's my point.
The worst.
That's my point. That's you making my point for me. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like, oh man, hey, we dropped the game here, but then we won 3. Then we dropped the game here, and we won 3 more. It wasn't like that. It was the wheels fell off.
Yes.
At one point, we were calling everybody in sports media was calling the Philadelphia Eagles the best team in football. You went from being called one of the best teams in football, having overwhelming command of the NFC East, having overwhelming command. You're in a driver's seat for the 1 seed to fall into a doggone wild card team.
5th seed,
and then losing to Baker Mayfield, making him look like he's
and the thing is,
thunderbolt from Mount Olympus.
And the thing about it is, Mike. I mean, the game could have been worse because Mike Evans went deep and dropped a couple of passes on a couple possessions.
Which tells you Tampa Bay's not that good. They came from the worst tomato can division in the doggone NFC, and they did that to them. That's the worst way to go out.
Now, could you imagine if that was Green Bay versus Philadelphia? Sure.
Oh, they'd have beat them to death. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Could you imagine? And I know it's an AFC team. Could you imagine if it was Houston versus Philadelphia? Okay, so Steve, like I said, I heard what you said about Nick Sirianni, man. Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl last year.
What I'm saying is he won't be fired this offseason simply because they were there last year. They had a meltdown, but you can talk your way out of still being there after this season. It's embarrassing, but he's not gonna get.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead. I'm right after you.
I'm gonna tell you like this. You're right, Steve. And I know you're enjoying being right about this because what that means is Philadelphia is going to be a tomato can.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And that guarantees that more than likely Dallas will win the division again because Philadelphia is so bad. Because Washington's not going to turn around. They're not going to 180 like the Texans did. And oh my God, the Giants are a hot mess. So yeah. I know you're going to enjoy that.
Well, yeah. I don't see it happening this offseason, man. I mean, I get the meltdown, but
Matt Patricia, the damn defense coordinator. I'm through.
They can easily say, we need a new coordinator. We need a new coordinator. They won a lot of games the past 2 seasons. They ain't gonna do that right now. Not right now.
Just real quick.
Time will tell, but this was an epic collapse. I think we're all in agreement that this is an epic collapse. That was an epic collapse. Yes, Brandon.
2 things. Real quick. Jim Harbaugh just finished interviewing with the Atlanta Falcons. I did not see that coming. But getting back on this topic. If Nick Sirianni is back, he's gonna need a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. With different schemes. Because if not, like y'all said, Philadelphia will be tomato can again next year, and that's going to be a wrap. Nick Sirianni will be on the hot seat, and I can see him fired midway through the season. Some point after
Philadelphia has. First of all, the defense was not as good as last year. They were abysmal this year in comparison to last year. That's the first thing. Second thing was their play calling was so rudimentary on offense and so basic and predictable that you knew what was coming to the point of, okay, yeah, that's fine. We can stop that. They ran into a buzzsaw when they saw San Francisco.
Yes,
everybody in the league got hold of that film and was like, oh, that's what it takes. Even bad teams that didn't have superlative personnel was able to stop what Philly was doing because it was so predictable, rudimentary, and basic in the play calling. And then the defense was already bad, so the defense couldn't erase a lot of mistakes that the offense made.
Hey, guess what? I take that, and I'm going to raise you this too. Yes, okay. Yes, teams did what San Francisco did as far as, shutting down B gaps and containing Jalen Hurts in the pocket. You know what else ended up happening? Todd Bowles, who liked to blitz, and Wink Martindale, who liked to blitz, and from the New York Giants, they were blitzing the heck out of Philadelphia them last couple of games because Philadelphia
control blitzes.
For some reason, Philadelphia don't put no hot routes into their offense. No hot route, so they getting blitzed.
No adjustments.
They Wake Martindale, Todd Bowles exposed their pass protections. Philip, that's what I'm saying. Nick Sirianni, if he's back, Steve, if he's back, you're gonna need a new offensive coordinator for new scheme,
Yeah,
and a new defensive coordinator for new scheme.
yeah.
That's
It's
some new
easy to
players.
say- it's
If
easy to
not,
say you need that.
Sirianni's on a hot seat,
Yeah.
and he's on his way out the door after Halloween.
I'm
Get
not saying
ready.
he's not on the hot seat. I'm saying he
No,
can
no,
just
no.
say,
I'm
"Oh,
just
I need a
saying.
new
I'm just
coordinator."
saying. I'm just saying. He needs to make those changes, and needs to make those changes in this offseason.
Well, I hope he
Don't
does.
wait. Don't wait around. Now, just like how Eric said about the Rams, I don't want to give him no pointers to become better, but I'm being objective. You better do that, or you gone.
Yeah, and back to just about coaching real quick. Harbaugh, I mean, we know business, right? He should interview with everybody because it drives his demand and his price up. I expect him to interview with every open job out there because if he really wants to go, they got to pay him a lot more. He can easily, it's just a game of business.
They're gonna
Man.
pay something. He's gonna have to. You're gonna have to pay him about $12 to $13 million.
He can say, "Oh, well, Atlanta wants to give me this. What are y'all talking about?"
He's gonna probably want $13 million.
It's not with
Yeah.
Harbaugh. I don't even think it's about the money. I think it's about the control.
Right. Either way, he
'Cause
can easily bargain.
When Harbaugh was in the league, when he was a coach in San Francisco, what led to his departure from San Francisco was a punk. Let me stop. It was an unsavory person named Trent Baalke that basically, and y'all know me, that was really hard for me to put it that way. But an unsavory GM named Trent Baalke basically orchestrated the divorce of Jim Harbaugh and Jed York in San Francisco because Trent Baalke had control of all the personnel. And Jim was like, I need control of personnel if you want me to take you over the hump, which I want to add that Jim Harbaugh has never had a losing record in the NFL. His worst season was 8-8. That was before we went to 17 games. But with him, if he comes back to the NFL, I can guarantee you whatever team he's interviewing with, he's going to say, I need control.
Mm-hmm.
Give me control.
Yep.
Ain't even about the money. Michigan paid me out the wazoo. I don't care about that. I got money sitting on top of money. I need control of this team. And I know we went off on a tangent there, but we can do a whole segment on Jim Harbaugh on another show. But that's I guarantee you that's going to be the selling point for him to want, hey, Jim, we want you. Do I have control? Well, we kind of want to get, okay, bye. I'm going to go to this other team.
By the way,
that's it.
By the way, real quick, Trent Baalke steps down as GM for the Jaguars. He's come back to San Francisco.
Man, don't play with me like that. Don't play with me like that. I'll tell all this shit. Man, I'll tell all this up and I'll knock all this over. I will knock all of this over. Don't joke like that for real. Because Trent Baalke, that's a dude right there, man. Like, you say if I see him on the street.
Okay, yeah, we got you. All right, so
yeah, he gonna catch this 2-piece.
Chicken divisional round.
Divisional round. Okay.
Saturday, 4:30 on ESPN. The Houston Texans, because they beat the Cleveland Browns, plays another AFC North team, the one-seeded Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'm gonna be the bold one here, okay? Even though I don't want to agree with it, I'm gonna just take the bold statement. I got the Houston Texans winning this game by 2 points.
Ooh, that's bold. And what's your rationale for it?
Houston has nothing to lose, man. And I'm gonna tell you something, Bobby Slowick.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the one thing.
Bobby Slowick is a smart offensive coordinator, and he might find a way to expose that Ravens defense, man.
Now here's the thing. I'm gonna let you finish because what you're saying, I got a little pushback on you for that. But
no, look, I wouldn't be mad at you, okay? I'm saying this, I'm being bold. I don't want to trust it, but it wouldn't surprise me either. And I got a couple comments already saying Texas ain't being the Ravens. Sorry, Texas, bye-bye. I know. Okay, fine. I'm stepping out on a limb by myself If that limb breaks, oh well, I'll be all right. I'm gonna survive. Okay.
But it's not crazy. It's not crazy to say that, because again, what we're talking about here is we're talking about a team. They playing with house money. Okay. Now, that being said, Bobby Slowick is a disciple of whose offense?
Kyle Shanahan.
The Ravens defense is designed to stop offenses like that.
That is true.
The strength of the Ravens defense is their safeties and their linebackers.
That's true. I give you that.
Okay. So as much as I love now, and this is not saying that Houston can't pull a rabbit out of a hat, because D'Amico Ryans is brilliant. But D'Amico Ryans calls the defense. Are they going to be able to move the ball on Baltimore? Baltimore's in their backyard.
If I'm Bobby Slowick, go ahead, Steve.
Sorry, the scary, like you said, the scariest thing. I keep thinking back to the 07 Giants. Is a team that barely got in, going against a team that had a first round bye.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad recipe. Now I think the Ravens are a better team, but the Ravens traditionally, I don't like doing that, but you know, we have to look at patterns, i.e. Dallas.
2019.
Traditionally in the playoffs,
I know where you're going.
They're different. Harbaugh has prepared them well in previous years. I think this is one of the better Raven teams, one of the best teams in recent Raven history, but it's gonna be a tough game.
Definitely.
That's all I can say. I can't pick them. I just don't trust when teams have bye. I don't. That's hard, man.
If I'm Bobby Slowick, you really have to go back and study that game between the 49ers and Ravens to see if there's something you can do different.
Run the ball.
That's true. No, I get that.
Here's the thing. The Ravens' run defense is not as strong as people think it is. And Kyle Shanahan chose not to, and we're going to talk about him in a minute, but Kyle Shanahan chose to, he saw it's the battle of the two MVP candidates, and I'm going to prove that my quarterback is better than yours, ego, instead of just running the ball. Christian McCaffrey had the fewest amount of touches in any of the games that year against that Christmas night against the Ravens, and did not run the ball enough. They wanted to fling it all over the yard. Kyle wanted to fling it all over the yard. The key to Houston winning this game is they got to come downhill and run the ball on the Ravens. They have to, and then go into your play action.
And now they got the running back to do so.
Yes. Now, crazy things have happened. This is not a guarantee. Gun to my head, I got to make a pick tonight. I'm gonna still take the Ravens at home.
Okay.
I still like the Ravens at home. But if you told me that Houston won this game, like time travel just pops up right here in my office and goes, hey, Houston beat the Ravens at home, I wouldn't be shocked.
And that's why I said Houston by 2. It's not going to be a blowout or anything like that. It's not going to be Dallas and Green Bay. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, I got about 2 points.
I'm my picking. I still got to pick Baltimore. Baltimore is a hard place to win at, man. Living there for so long, going to games there, seeing the tradition. It's a hard place to win at. But like you said, if Houston wins, I wouldn't be that surprised. But I'm still picking Baltimore. I'm still picking Baltimore in this game. I can't get a point differential.
Listen, hey, let me say something else too, real quick, because this will drive everybody all over the place. If Houston beats Baltimore, Houston could go to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Houston versus Buffalo, Houston versus Kansas City. I'm not predicting anything. I'm not guaranteeing anything. If Houston beats Baltimore, matter of fact, Cleveland just said it right here. If the Texans win, they go to the Super Bowl.
It's possible.
There's a strong possibility. I didn't even see that. That's a strong possibility. We got.
And here's the thing. Before we move to the next game, here's the thing. Before we move to the next game, if Houston wins this game, again, they playing with house money. It's like, hey, this is great. Let's keep going. if they win this game and then Full Ride lose the AFC Championship, it's gonna like, man, we made it to the AFC Championship.
Yep, and they
They
weren't
not gonna,
supposed to.
they like a kid in a candy store right now. Like we not
Man.
supposed to be here. Do you understand? We're not supposed to be here. We'll take what we can get. You know. So yeah. So Houston is so dangerous because they're not supposed to be here, and they playing with house money. That the pressure busts a pipe, man. Pressure busts a pipe. So you sitting up here with the Ravens got all this pressure on them. We the number 1 seed. People saying they got the second best odds by Vegas to win the Super Bowl. We got the league's front runner for the MVP. We got to show up. We got to. We at home. Everything's in our favor. We got to do this. We got to do this. Houston like, hey man, we just here to play some football, man. Whatever happens, happens. That's the more dangerous team. The team that ain't got no pressure versus the team that's got all this pressure on their back.
All right.
Next game.
Green Bay Packers, who upset the Dallas Cowboys as a number 7 seed, travels and now plays number 1 seed after being the number 2 seed. They traveled to Santa Clara, California, to play the San Francisco 49ers.
Same thing.
I'm picking. Yeah, I'm picking San Fran.
I'm picking San Fran here too.
Should win this game.
I'm picking San Fran for these reasons right here. Green Bay's bad against the run. Miami Dallas is bad running the ball. San Fran's really, really good at running the ball.
That's all Kyle Shanahan has to do.
He breaking
San
up.
Fran. San Fran pretty much, match wise is probably the best position, probably the best team in the NFC. I just don't see, and they have better coaches than who Green Bay just saw. I don't see how Green Bay goes in there and wins that game. I think they're gonna play pretty well, but I've been saying all season San Fran's the best team in the NFC. I don't see Green Bay beating the best team in the NFC.
That's my internet.
Check. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, Steve. Mic check. Yeah, I can't tell if Steve was breaking up. Did you hear Steve breaking up, Brandon?
I thought I did it first, but it sounded like he's good though.
Yeah, I'm saying
that might be me then.
Okay, so Steve, you
might
good?
Be my internet. I
don't
know.
I'm picking San Fran.
Okay, yeah, I'm picking San Francisco too.
Okay.
Yeah, like Steve said, man, all you gotta do just run the ball. Run, Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
And I know what you're gonna say. Wait.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish because I'm finna.
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. This is not the time, Kyle, because you got a good quarterback, okay? And look, and I'm gonna bring up something that you said earlier when it comes to Super Bowl windows. Super Bowl windows in general, in my personal opinion, a lot of times last 2. When me and Trisha talk about this, I said 2 to 4 years. Trisha said 2 to 3 years. This is the time now to win the Super Bowl. Run, Christian, run. Run, CMC, run. That's all you need to do against this Green Bay Packers defense. They got solid players, and Kenny Clark, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary. They solid. They're not great, okay? Now, I know they beat Dallas, okay? But this is overall in general, okay? Run, CMC, run. Run, CMC, run. If you got to run this ball 20, 25, 30 times, and you got other running backs, as Eric always tells me, use those running backs. This is the time you run the ball. Run it. And once you get that lead, 10 points or more, keep running the ball. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, so here's the thing. There are 3 things that will keep San Francisco from getting to a Super Bowl. Okay,
Injuries.
I'm going to start with 3 and move up to 1. Number 3 is the kicker. Okay, because in the playoffs, you're going to be playing tighter games. You're not going to be blowing people out the water. And Jake Moody has already cost the 49ers 2 games this season.
Okay.
The Cleveland game, and even though it was a meaningless game, they cost the Week 18 game against the Rams. Had he made if he'd have made the field goal, they'd have won that game. Simple. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely he's your
number
internet.
2, injuries. Now, San Francisco's healthier than they've ever been. I just saw the report today. Everybody's up and running. Say again?
It's
It's
your
my
internet.
internet. Great.
Yep, it is.
Great. Right. We almost threw the show. My internet acting up. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good. Go number 2.
Okay. Okay. So number 2 is injuries. I saw the injury report. Everybody's up and running. Looks like they're going to be okay. We got Eric Armstead back, who's a major run forcer and stopper in the middle. So unless some serious injuries happen in that game, that's not a problem. Reason number 1, Kyle Shanahan and his ubiquitous ability to screw up a sure thing, making the wrong decisions at the wrong time. That's the concern. Should San Francisco beat Green Bay, who's a very talented team? Yeah, they should. They're at home. They're healthy. Top to bottom, the roster's better. But can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze again. Now you're good.
Okay.
Kyle Michael Shanahan.
But that's the issue. Now, I'm gonna say the same thing about Green Bay at San Francisco that I'm saying about Houston at Baltimore. If a time traveler popped up behind me right now and say, "Hey, San Fran lost to,"
Frozen again.
I can see that, because how did it happen? And there'll be something. Well, Shanahan did this, and like, yep. Or the kicker missed the field goal in the fourth quarter. That I can see that. So my pick, San Francisco. I got San Francisco pretty much winning the NFC for the rest of these playoffs, and meeting probably Baltimore in the Super Bowl. However, the Kyle Shanahan factor always screws that up. So that's my issue with that. So I'm guaranteeing that the 49ers are going to win. No, I can't, because I've seen what Shanahan has done in situations like this in the past. He's let us down so many times on no-brainer type things. He's so smart, he's dumb sometimes. He overthinks things. So I don't trust Kyle Shanahan. Do I trust this roster? Heck yes. This is the best roster we putting together in a long time. But do I trust Kyle Shanahan's decision making? No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next game. This game should be enough said. I have Detroit beating Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that Tampa Bay could do to kind of slow down Detroit, and that's because of Vita Vea, is slow down Detroit's ground game. I think Vita Vea can slow down Detroit's ground game. Antoine Winfield Jr. is a good DB, but it's not going to be enough at the end of the day. Plus, Baker Mayfield's still the quarterback. So I have Detroit winning this game. To me, that's enough said. Y'all can go ahead and spend 2 minutes on whatever, but I'm ready to go to Kansas City and Buffalo.
Steve, who you got?
I got Detroit, man. They're home. Baker Mayfield, he still missed a lot of throws yesterday, man. I think Detroit, they're just too charged up. They're home. They're excited to beat them just at the end, man. I think they come out firing, because, to be honest, as bad as Philly was, that game was close for a good portion of it. Philly was close for a good portion of that game, so I just feel like Detroit's gonna play a lot better, man, and beat them by a lot.
So I have Detroit as well. There's some X factors in this. And Steve, we talked about it before. You have Dan Campbell's emotional decision making. He lets that get the best of him. If the game is tight and it comes down to Dan Campbell, it's almost like Kyle Shanahan, but it's different. There's bad decisions in crucial moments. But with Shanahan, it's ego. With Dan Campbell, it's emotion. So that could be their downfall. If Detroit was to lose that game, that would be the reason. Do I think Detroit has a better roster? Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think they can tire out Vita Vea with a lot of misdirection and running away from. Make Vita Vea chase you. You do
They're
not
gonna have
run
to.
at. You do not
Gibbs gonna have to
run at
run.
Vita Vea.
Gibbs gonna have to run.
Yeah, no. You got to run away from him and make him
Oh, I
chase
know.
you. You
I
don't run
know.
to him. Yeah. Oh, look, it's a grizzly bear. Let's go give him a hug. Hell no. Okay. So, you know, hey, it's a hippopotamus. Let's go hug the hippopotamus, and now you dead. So, you know, you run away. Okay. So I don't believe in Baker Mayfield. You know, people Baker Mayfield's underrated, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, and I don't want to take up too much time with it. But Baker Mayfield's on that cycle. He's on that cycle right now. And you know, yeah, them 300 yards he threw for this weekend.
If anything, Baker Mayfield's been overrated, coming as a Heisman winner and all that.
Oh
National
no,
media has
oh
fallen
no, Steve,
in love with
please
Baker
understand.
Mayfield again.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Please
I'm just
understand.
saying.
I
I'm talking
agree
about
with
that
you.
nonsense. I'm talking
National
about that
media-
nonsense comment, that nonsense troll comment.
Hey,
It's terrible.
listen.
He's been on 13 teams, and what did Gilly the Kid say? 13 teams in 3 months.
Right.
Listen. National media has fallen in love with Baker Mayfield. I'm like, why?
But it's the same cycle, y'all. We talk about it every week. He's like, he plays well enough to make people believe they should give him a job. Then he plays over his head a couple of games, and then he goes right back down to what the hell is he doing?
Yep.
So it's gonna happen. Will it happen this week? I don't know. I still feel like they're gonna lose the game, but he could completely crap the bed this game, or he may not. But the thing about it, it's the Baker Mayfield cycle. And if you hadn't caught it by now, then I don't know what to tell you. You don't know a whole lot about football. And I'm not talking about you two gentlemen. I'm talking about anybody that's in the comment section. So, yeah, I like Detroit at home for this. Okay. Let's go to the last game. This is Kansas City and Buffalo.
Buffalo. Look, this game, depending on how it's played, can go either way. Kansas City can run the ball. They can play defense. Buffalo's more balanced. They can play defense. My concern for Kansas City is dropping passes, and Kadarius Toney plays cornerback now.
Yes, definitely.
And Buffalo Bills, my concern is, they just get dumb, or Josh Allen just starts throwing interceptions. So I'm here, but I think I might lean more so towards Buffalo, just because I think I can trust Buffalo a little bit more than I can trust Kansas City.
I trust Buffalo's receivers a whole lot better. I trust Buffalo's ability to have a balanced attack, but I do recognize and respect Kansas City's defense.
Definitely,
they can turn Josh Allen over. They have the ability to turn him over.
And listen, Steve Spagnuolo, and I
yes,
that's one of my favorite defensive coordinators in the league. Okay, that dude will blitz the heck out of Josh Allen. Joe Brady's game plan versus Steve Spagnuolo, that's going to be very, very crucial. That's going to be very crucial. If Josh Allen, this is going to be one of those games that if Josh Allen connects on 2 to about 3, maybe 4 certain passes, and I don't know what those passes are going to be, Buffalo definitely comes out with a victory. But if Steve Spagnuolo can get his guys through a gap and disrupt Josh Allen, whether it's sack, force him from recovering it, or force him to throw an interception, is Josh Allen being able to handle that Steve Spagnuolo defense. Trust me.
I'm gonna. Y'all know I like Buffalo a lot, but I cannot bet against Andy Reid in the playoffs. And Buffalo has shown time and time again how to get outcoached in the postseason every year, and how to rely on Josh Allen's athleticism as a big part of the game plan.
That's true.
Going into big games, we've seen this matchup before. There's no way I can bet against Andy Reid in this game. I can't.
Hey, listen. Let me say this for Egos. If Buffalo loses to Kansas City, I think at some point you got to put Sean McDermott on the hot seat. you can't keep protecting Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott doesn't have the same defensive coordinator he had when he first started in Buffalo, and he doesn't have the same offensive coordinator he had when he first started in Buffalo. At some point, it's got to come down on Sean McDermott. Go ahead, E. Go ahead.
If it's a low scoring game, meaning under 50 points by both teams, I like Buffalo. If it turns into a shoot, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. I like Kansas City. If it's a shootout, I like Buffalo.
I hear you.
And here's why. If it turns into, remember that game where they had, I think it was 2 overtimes, and remember that game?
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the receivers he had then. And if it turns into where I need a play from my quarterback, I don't think it's I don't think that Pat Mahomes can't make the play. I just don't think the receivers are going to make the catch. I just don't. They lead the league in drops. I trust Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, who I think is going to play this week, and the kid, the second-year kid out of Boise, Shakir. I trust them. I trust Kincaid, the tight end. I trust Knox, the tight end.
Yep.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I don't trust Travis Kelce since he's been with Taylor Swift.
They are shutting down Travis Kelce.
Because Rashee Rice has been playing well.
That's true.
But Travis Kelce is the go-to guy. And I don't trust him. Like, it comes down to who has the playmakers you can trust if it comes down to a back and forth thing. If it turns into a back and forth thing, I trust Buffalo's receivers better.
Yep.
So if it's a high scoring game, meaning over 50 points from between both team scores, I like Buffalo. Low scoring game, I like Kansas City. Gun to my head. Yes, you got to pick right now, Eric. I'm gonna go with Buffalo because they're at home. And Bills Mafia is nuts.
Yeah, they are. They're nuts.
Anytime
you jump from heights and drop yourself to a table, you nuts. I'm not
that's
doing
some straight WWE type stuff right
man.
there. And y'all
ECW type stuff.
Yes, Extreme Championship Wrestling. So okay, so I'm gonna get Tristan's picks because he wasn't able to make it with us tonight. But last week our picks went like this. Tristan was 2-4, Brandon was 3-3, I was 4-2, and Steve was 2-4 on those picks last week. So we're gonna see how this is gonna shake out. I think we may get back to normal this week with the higher seed teams winning. We'll see, but anything can happen. Nothing
is guaranteed.
Is a sure thing.
There you go.
In these playoffs. So yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for joining us for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. Hey, get us up to 500 subscribers on the YouTube channel so we can do a Patreon for y'all, and y'all can see what we do in the green room, especially Eric's crazy self.
I don't know what he's talking about, people.
He's lying to you. He's lying to you, liar. Anyway, 200. We got 274 subscribers. So, out of the 274 subscribers, if all 274 of y'all get one person to subscribe to the YouTube channel, just one, we'll be way over 500 because 274 times 2 is so far over 500. I'm not doing the math right now because I don't care, but it'll be way over 500. Okay, and we will appreciate that 100%. Trust us, okay?
So this is your homework. Go find another person to subscribe.
One.
They don't have to even watch it. They don't want to. Like, just go get your mom that don't watch football. Go get your uncle that don't even care. Just, hey man, open your phone. Go to this. All right, hit subscribe. That's it.
That's all you gotta do. That's all.
And
they
might actually like the show. I don't know. They might like it.
They might. Especially this one's crazy self right here.
I don't know what he's talking about. I just
liar.
Liar.
Anyway, all right. So we are live on YouTube, Instagram. Now we can't see the comments on Instagram, unfortunately. Sorry, y'all. But we're all live on Instagram. So we're live on YouTube, Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. We can see we can see the comments from Twitch. We're live on Twitter, and we can see those as well. Okay, you can follow us on TikTok. Eric just posted a new one. Check it out. You can follow us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. And yeah, okay, so I did cover all 4 of them. You can listen to us on Google, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. Hey, real quick, also on Facebook, I posted 4 polls regarding this week's games. Who do you got winning? Baltimore, Houston. You can vote. Green Bay, San Francisco, please vote. Tampa Bay, Detroit, please vote. Kansas City, Buffalo, please vote. If you're on my friends list, I've already shared it on my end. Hopefully the guys will share it on their end if they haven't already. Coach Williams, Snug is bugging the rug, who's in draft mode. That way, Steve White, the man who came up with the idea of creating this podcast.
I'm gonna be in draft mode. They don't fool around. If Shanahan keeps screwing up, or he screws this up.
He say, hey. He says nothing's a short thing.
Shoot.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, short of all ages. Peace. Snug as a bug in a rug.